Hey, just real quick, so I started writing this video before the earthquake in southeastern Turkey happened, but as I don't want to profit off tragedy, I've left a few links to some good charities you can donate to in the pinned comment. And if you're Turkish yourself, feel free to suggest more charities that you trust in the replies to that comment. Okay, on with the video. Geography can often play an important role in deciding which countries become international superpowers, which ones fall into the void of non-existence, and which ones just, chill. However, this is arguably even more so the case with the cities of the world. Cities are virtually built by their geography, and I guess technically also the people who live there. And one of the best places to see this in practice is Turkey's largest city, Istanbul, or Constantinople, or Byzantium, or Miklagard, or Tsarograd, or Nova Roma, or whatever else you want to call this place. So what made Istanbul such an important city as to be the capital of multiple major empires for over 1500 years? I mean, I imagine it's extremely obvious, but let's roll with it. I just really want to talk about the geography of this place. Istanbul lies in the northwest of the Republic of Turkey, famous for being situated on two continents, with the western side in Europe and the eastern side in Asia, separated by the Bosphorus. Bosphorus, actually it doesn't really matter, both are correct. An important strait which connects the Black Sea to the Mediterranean. The Bosphorus is thus an extremely important waterway for Russia, as its ports outside the Black Sea tend to freeze over in the winter. Without this little strait, Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria, and Georgia would all be functionally landlocked, and if you include the Volga-Don Canal connecting the waterways to the Caspian Sea, so too would this be the case for Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, and Azerbaijan. Sorry, Uzbekistan. The first settlements in the area was founded by King Bizos in 667 BC, sailing there from his homeland in Megara after being told by the oracle to seek a port opposite the land of the blind. Arriving in the area, he found a natural harbor opposite the already existing colony of Chalcedon in what is now the district of Kadıköy, interpreting this place to be the land of the blind, as surely one must have been blind to have missed this good of a place to found a city. And so he founded a city there. This harbor would be situated in an inlet known as the Golden Horn, or Haliç in Turkish, giving its name to the metro station which straddles both sides of the inlet, separating what is now Fatih from Beyoğlu, where Venetian and Genoese merchants would establish a base known as Pera in the late Middle Ages. This setup also made the core of the city easy to defend, with the famous Theodosian walls defending the city for over 1,000 years. The city's broader location would also make it an ideal location for a more easterly focused late Roman Empire, one which was at near constant war with the Sasanian Persian Empire. After all, in a 5-kilometer-an-hour world, being 1,000 kilometers closer to your biggest rival so you can defend your border isn't always a bad idea. Thus, when Constantine I refounded the city, and the city grew to be a new Roman capital, the city grew from a small port city to the largest city in the world. When Constantinople was conquered in 1453, the Ottomans too would utilize the city's location, being not comparatively far away from the Indian Ocean and its massive trade networks, which Western Europe was mostly left out from. Of course, nowadays Istanbul is not the capital of the modern Republic of Turkey, though you can see why in this video I already made a couple years ago. This political importance, which was mainly due to the city's geographical importance, also inspired its religious importance in the two largest religions on the planet. The city serves to this day as the seat of the Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople, the sort of first among equals of all the several patriarchs within the Eastern Orthodox Church. In Islam too, the Ottoman sultans would claim the title of Caliph, at first disputedly under Murad I, and then with a bit more meaning to the term after the empire conquered Mecca and Medina under Selim I 200 years later, with this tradition only dying out when the empire itself was disbanded in the 1920s. Travel across the Bosphorus in modern times is facilitated by 3 road bridges, a road tunnel, a rail tunnel, and a crap ton of ferries running on several different routes across the strait and to and from the Prince Islands to the south. Before the Bosphorus Bridge opened in 1973, there were no ways of crossing the Bosphorus other than by boat, though that doesn't mean the idea was never floated around in the past. With Leonardo da Vinci proposing a design to Sultan Bayezid II in 1502. The Marmaray Tunnel was completed in 2013, serviced by the Marmaray commuter rail, as well as intercity trains, and allowing freight trains to pass through during the off hours. Before that, railways going in and out of the city simply ended at the strait, with Sirkeci Station serving routes to and from Europe, Haydarpaşa serving routes to and from the Middle East, and in between the stations, maybe get a boat or something. Istanbul is also a very hilly city, with certain routes like Taksim to Kabataş or Beyoğlu to Karaköy served by funicular railways, with the Channel on the F2 line being the oldest fully underground railway line in continental Europe. Which is a pretty specific flex to make, but okay. What's sort of ironic about the city's position then is the lack of fresh water anywhere within its borders. With the refounded Constantinople's population skyrocketing in the 4th century, the Romans solved the problem with one of the things they're so famous for building: aqueducts, with the aqueduct of Valence eventually connecting a whole series of aqueducts spread throughout the area to the cisterns of the city, the most famous of which being the Basilica cistern. In modern times, the city's water is mostly provided from groundwater and surface water reservoirs, though the local geography leads to the awkward situation where most of the population lives on the European side, but most of the fresh water lies on the Asian side. Another major problem plaguing the city's water supply is illegal construction near the reservoirs, and building codes not being properly enforced, resulting in pollutants often leaking into the water. These building codes not being properly enforced, however, can also have a more dire side effect. Istanbul, and Turkey as a whole, is vulnerable to earthquakes. Aside from the East Anatolian Fault, which caused the recent earthquake in southeastern Turkey and northern Syria, the North Anatolian Fault runs along the north of the country, go figure, underneath the Pontic Alps, and directly around the Sea of Marmara. This has played a massive role in the city's history and development, even back into ancient times, with parts of the Theodosian Wall falling to an earthquake in 447 and having to be quickly repaired before Attila the Hun's armies could reach the city. So, lastly, why is Turkey building another canal right to the west of the city when there's already a perfectly good natural waterway? The simple answer: politics. Due to the terms in the Montreux Convention, Turkey has to guarantee safe passage for ships going through the Bosphorus, but they can't actually charge anyone passage like Egypt or Panama can with their important waterways. Thus, a new canal just to the west, which ships will have to pay to use, but for some it might be worth it, seeing just as how crowded the Bosphorus is. Like seriously, it's like the downtown Manhattan rush hour of waterways. Basically, Turkey can use this new canal to charge people to use the fast lane. Istanbul is a city whose geography seems overpowered on first glance, and in many ways, it is. However, upon closer inspection, it's clear that the city has just as many geographic flaws as it does blessings.